What's up, THL? Welcome to another episode of SHL Sunday Ticket. I'm Markshire, and I'm joined tonight by Force of Will.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here this evening, ready to watch some exciting matches of SHL. Now, if you were looking at the Facebook group earlier, you probably noticed that Thanatos and Chaotic was originally slated to be our first match for this evening. Markshire, as a member of the SHL board, do you kind of want to step through a little bit of what happened with that match?
Yeah, there was some unfortunate occurrences. Basically, one of the players was not clear on the bans, on the banning strategy, shots and that, so it ended up being a DQ. So we will not be casting that match tonight. However, luckily for us, Craeon and Delcevare, they have stepped in and allowed their match to be streamed. So that's going to be our first match tonight.
Excellent insight. So coming into this match, currently the score is between Doesn't Matter and Kawasaki Ninja's Rule. Is 6-4 in favor of Kawasaki Ninja's Rule, but there's 3 matches remaining. Of course, we're going to cover Delcevare and Craeon tonight. We'll see what the other 2 of those matches end up coming as results. But very interesting lineups, and both players we already know have banned the Paladin, so that's going to leave an interesting matchup here of Druid Mage Warrior versus Druid Priest Warrior. What's kind of your thoughts on that going into this match?
Yeah, so we've got pretty similar lineups here. The one difference, of course, being Delcevare on Mage and Craeon on Priest. And there, I would say that Priest generally does well against Mage. Silence Priest and Dragon Priest can both beat Burn Mage and Secret Mage, I believe. So I would give Craeon the slight edge there. As for that, Druid and Warrior are both very versatile classes, going with Pirate Warrior or Taunt Warrior, and on Druid, ranging from Aggro Druid and Jade Druid. So I'm not really sure what we'll expect there.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think Priest, as a Druid and Warrior variable, they could be Token Druid or Jade Druid or Taunt Warrior or Pirate Warrior. There's a variety there. So until we get into the matches, we're not going to know which is which from that. And unfortunately, the bans don't tell us a whole lot about that. But the the mage and the priest are going to be the big differences. I think they're going to be the big telling thing as to how this match is going to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like you said, not much that we can infer from the Paladin ban. I think it's by far the most popular ban in THL. I'm not sure about SHL, but it's probably one up there as well. So yeah, this could really be anything. We'll just have to see.
It's like, yeah, I think because Paladin does have 3 viable decks, and even though they all play very similarly to each other, because there's like Murloc Paladin, Midrange Paladin, Control Paladin, there's really not a whole lot, but it does look like that they're actually getting into game right now. And so we can go ahead and get on this started.
Looks like Craeon is starting out with his priest, and Delcevare is on his druid. And judging by this Deathwing, I would assume that this is a dragon priest, even though Deathwing is not usually seen in this archetype. Really interesting opening hand from Craeon here.
All right, and let's see. I'm actually getting in at this very moment.
Okay, so Delcevare, we can see he's on druid. Looks to be a pretty typical aggro druid here.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. Assuming the patches will be tossed back here in just a moment. But yeah, so it looks like, yeah, it's pretty standard. He actually has one of the better one drops to start off with here, Firefly. So I'm assuming he will keep that, but we'll see what else he gets here. Oh wow, actually, Delcevare has a very nice opening, I think, here. So
this is great. Oh, and we see the Crazed Alchemist come into his hand. That's a tech choice you don't see too often in aggro druid. I'm guessing, I wonder what that's for. It does hit Doomsayers, and it's also pretty good against Shaman because it can kill totems. But other than that, it isn't useful for much.
Yeah. Now, in Craeon's hand, we just noticed a Curious Glimmer has come into hand. Be an interesting turn 2, turn 3 play. But Delcevare actually here just picked up a Bittertide Hydra. So I'm kind of curious as to how many Bittertide Hydras he's running. Because under the assumption this is typical, the typical token druid, there's also 2 living manas in here.
Right. Well, I have seen, I think most aggro druid lists are, if they're not running the Fingja package, they are running 2 Bittertide Hydras along with 2 living manas. It can get clunky at times, but you can generally afford to be running those big threats. Craeon's just gonna play this Radiant Elemental out for tempo here, which is probably fine. He doesn't have a way to clear off any of these 1/2s right now.
But unfortunately for him, for Craeon, Delcevare will have a way to clear it out because he can either play the Crazed Alchemist and then Mark of the Lotus, or he can do Flame Elemental and Mark of the Lotus here. So yeah, he has an option on either or here, so he can pump up his entire team. Actually, I think he can. He can't completely clear, but he can at least get rid of the Northshire Cleric here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, a cool play would be to go for the Crazed Alchemist on one of his own 1/2s, and then he can make a 3/2 with Mark of the Lotus and get that nice trade, that nice value trade into the Northshire, and then clear the Radiant Elemental off as well.
Oh, you are correct. Yeah, that is an excellent pickup there. That would be a full clear for him. But he is just going to go Flame Elemental and Mark of the Lotus here.
Interesting.
Interesting. He's going in for the... I don't know how I feel about going in for the Radiant Elemental, because now he can kill one of his tokens with the Northshire and heal it and draw a card.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I went for that either. Radiant Elemental, of course, is a pretty significant threat that Delcevare wants to deal with, but he doesn't really get punished by much. You already know your opponent didn't have Power Word Shield because they would have played it anyways. So yeah, just giving your opponent this free kill and possibly a card seems it's interesting.
Looks like actually Craeon's going to coin out this Twilight Drake, which actually does contest the board very well. It's a 4/5. But Delcevare actually just picked up the Direwolf Alpha. So he actually would be able to, I think with a hero power, he could potentially kill this and one of his creatures. No, actually, no, he'd have to toss 2 creatures in.
Yeah, he can kill it off. And like you said, he does have to sacrifice 2 of his minions here. So I wonder if he'll just ignore that and try to push some face damage instead. Maybe play the Direwolf and just hero power to kill off the Northshire.
Or, well, the other option would be play the Crazed Alchemist first, since you're going to have to get rid of 2 creatures anyway, and then use your hero power to kill the Northshire. That would be the other way to go about with this, but...
Yeah, Crazed Alchemist could also work as a play. If you don't play it now, I'm wondering what he's saving it for against Priest. It doesn't have that great targets, I don't think.
So, interesting. Okay. And then he's thinking about tossing the Crazed Alchemist out here now, which, I mean, it's still going to cost him 2 minions, so I'm not certain what the advantage of this is, but...
I guess he's just trying to... flood the board. Oh, wow.
Wow, he didn't kill it.
Doomsayer pickup from Craeon.
After the Crazed Alchemist is played, too. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
So does Craeon just play the Doomsayer here, just to soak up some damage?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, he's going to do the Priest of the Feast, which, again, I think right now would pretty much wipe the board. Assuming this turn, Delcevare will kill this Twilight Drake with one of the injured 2 power minions. And then he can living mana here if he wants. He would actually only use 3 of his mana if he does it before he attacks. So he'll still have 2 mana left over and going into 3 with the Tar Creeper.
Yeah. He could just play Bitter Tide Hydra here too. We don't see a Shadow or Death in Craeon's hand right now, so it would go relatively unpunished. Craeon also can't capitalize off the Priest of the Feast right now. He doesn't have any spells, unless he would somehow pick something up from Curious Glimmerroot, maybe a Power of the Wild or a Mark of the Lotus.
All right, well, it looks like Delcevare's just going to push face here and drop the Bitter Tide Hydra. And still no clean way to remove it right now.
Yeah. I think the Hydra is fine there. It makes sense to want to play the Hydra before living mana when you're making the choice between those 2 5-drops, because you can play Hydra and you're guaranteed to have 5 mana the turn after to play the living mana. Whereas if you play living mana first, that's not necessarily true.
I would say, well, that's a pretty easy pickup for Craeon there, because that was the only card that even close in Delcevare's deck here. But he is going to drop the Doomsayer here, which of course it will get cleared off by the Bittertide Hydra, but there's also 2 damage not going to your, or 8 damage not going to your face.
Yep, yeah, Doomsayer just acting as a soft taunt here. It's pretty good. Delcevare is close to just finishing the game off, though. He's actually 2 damage off of lethal this turn.
He is. It's like, well, if he goes face, then he will lose his board here. So I don't think he's going to be able to push yet, but he can at least kill the Doomsayer, push 4 to face, and then maybe even the Tar Creeper, because both the minions that are currently on the battlefield will not get through that Tar Creeper.
Yeah, he can definitely afford to go face if he just plays this Tar Creeper out. Although he has to be a little bit scared of spells now. Even though you didn't see any last turn, Craeon did pick up that Savage Roar. So maybe you want to kill this Priest of the Feast because you're afraid of Craeon getting more heal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, yeah, I could. Yeah, and actually, it looks like he is wanting to go ahead and kill this Priest of the Feast now, because that Curious Glimmerroot's done the damage it's going to do. So yeah, he'll hero power and probably drop that Enchanted Raven.
Yep, I think this is fine. You protect your Bittertide Hydra. Unless Craeon top decks a death, you can be relatively confident it'll survive another turn.
So it looks like Craeon's looking at the Netherspite Historian here, which, I mean, he's holding a dragon in hand, so he will get something off of this right now. Unfortunately, the only other full mana play that he can do right now is Cabal Shadow Priest, and he can take the Enchanted Raven, but that's not really what you're looking at right now, I don't think.
No, I like the Cabal Shadow Priest here. It's a play on curve, and it builds his board up a little bit.
But I believe this is lethal now with the Savage Roar, because that will be...
Yep, that's going to be lethal.
So, Delcevare will take game number 1 here. So he wins with the Druid. The Priest has been defeated.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
I was gonna say about that last game. Looking at Craeon's deck, he had Acidic Swamp Ooze and Doomsayer, so it's pretty clear that he was teching against aggro. But neither of those cards worked out for him in against the aggro Druid.
No.
Ooze, of course, doesn't hit any weapons, and he drew the Doomsayer a little bit too late. So I'll commend Craeon's deck building in that regard. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that he didn't draw that Doomsayer earlier.
Yeah, it was. It's like, and it'll be interesting to see if the rest of Craeon's decks here are aggro, or well, actually no, Delcevare. It'll be interesting to see if the rest of Delcevare's decks here are aggro. But Delcevare is going to continue with the Druid. Mm-hmm. Now the choices left for Craeon are Druid and Warrior. Now, of course, Warrior. If it's Taunt Warrior, you actually
Taunt Warrior is pretty good against aggro Druid if he is bringing that. And now that I think about it more, I'm wondering why he's running Acidic Swamp Ooze at all, banning the Paladin. I guess it's to hit the Medivh's weapon for Mage if he's protecting Burn Mage. It's also
agreed. Yeah, agreed. It is excellent against that. So he is going to go into the Craeon's going to go into the Warrior here, and actually this looks like Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, so Pirate Warrior generally a little bit unfavored in this matchup, but N'Zoth's first mate on turn 1 is still extremely strong. I think Craeon's just going to keep that.
And so yeah, I'll probably ship back the other 2 at this point, try to see if you can get a better 2-drop or something with that. Maybe, I mean, you might have an argument to keep the South Sea Captain, but I think you got to get rid of at least the Naga Corsair there. As for Delcevare, if he knew that his opponent was on Taunt or aggro Pirate Warrior, he might be interested in keeping both of his Tar Creepers, but he is going to keep one of them just in case.
Yeah, I think that's fine. It's definitely pays off if your opponent's Pirate Warrior, and that's probably the deck that you're mulliganing for. It's usually correct to mulligan for the most aggressive archetype of the class that you're facing.
All right, so. Craeon does drop the Enzal's first mate, gets the weapon, gets patches. So typical Pirate Warrior beginning here.
Yep, this is pretty good. Delcevare, the only minion he can play right now is this Bloodsail Corsair, and it will pull the patches onto the board, and it will remove 1 charge from the Rusty Hook, but he might also be thinking about saving it to maybe get some more value out of that battle cry down the line.
Well, he does have the coin. He could do Bloodsail Corsair coin Mark of the Lotus as well. That will at least protect it. It'll still take the charge off. You can still kill one of the minions. Actually, he just did nothing in past. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see just Bloodsail Corsair coin Mark of the Lotus here. It's really hard for the Pirate Warrior to deal with, and you even have the curve of Power of the Wild into Tar Creeper. So I guess he really is just committed to getting value out of that Bloodsail Corsair battlecry.
Well, as of right now, Craeon doesn't have anything but hero power on turn 2. So he's going to get value off of it now because Craeon is holding Bloodsail Cultist and was actually, he's just going to coin out this Tar Creeper here.
Interesting. Well, he kept it in his starting hand for a reason, and I guess that's because he wanted to coin it out. The downside of this play or this line overall from Delcevare is it didn't play aggressively for the board on turn 1, and now it's going to leave these 2 pirates up. So Craeon can get this buff with the Cultist if he chooses to.
So, and actually, he can get with the buff. He can get the buff, or he could potentially just use a Heroic Strike to just clear this and keep his other 2 minions around. Yeah.
And yeah, even though Cultist is really strong here, I don't know. Heroic Strike clears the minion off, but you don't care too much about just the 1/5. I think I actually would still like to see Cultist just to get a 3/4 out.
Okay, and he agrees. He will go with the Cultist here. Hit 2 into it. I can't imagine he will actually send the creatures in. But unfortunately for him, now he's Delcevare's going to get a lot of value here because he can do Bloodsail Corsair, finish off the Rusty Hook, Mark the Lotus, and Power of the Wild, all in one turn. He can clear both the other pirates and have I believe, a 3/6.
Yeah, no, you'd
3/5.
be right.
3/5.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a 3/5. That's definitely a very strong turn. He can also just play this Firefly out before he buffs. Also, definitely a lot of strong options for Delcevare right now.
Yep, and actually he is looking at the Firefly, so looks like he'll Firefly and then mark the Lotus here. And he will kill at least one of the pirates here. Or actually, no, he will kill two of the pirates because he'll be able to kill with the Tar Creeper. And all right, so
wow, and this is just such a crazy board swing from Delcevare here. So saving this Blood Sail and saving these buffs really paid off for him.
yeah, so actually because now he can drop the Flame Elemental if you would like, then use Power of the Wild and Mark of the Lotus, and he can actually clear off the Frothing Berserker pretty cleanly here. And that does look like it will be what he's going to do. So he's going to use the Bloodsail Corsair. Actually, the Bloodsail Corsair will live, and then he'll push 8 damage here with his other 2 creatures. All right, so yep. Looks like Craeon's you can be Arcanite Reaper. He's just going to go face. I think he realizes his state in this board. Actually, is that lethal?
This might be lethal with Savage Roar. Yeah, Craeon really didn't have any lines to win when he just went face with Arcanite Reaper, but maybe if his opponent like missed attacking for a couple turns, he would have had the damage to finish off the game. But Savage Roar is going to seal it up, and Delcevare is going to get off to a quick 2-0 start here.
Yeah, he is. So the only thing that's left for Craeon now is the Druid. And it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be a token Druid mirror or if this is going to be Druid or a token Druid versus Jade Druid.
Yeah.
Given the lineup right now, I would say probably either one is viable.
I think it might be Jade Druid because Craeon wanted to avoid queuing it rather than queue the Warrior, because I think he would have preferred to have the mirror match over the Pirate Warrior, which is unfavored. But we see a Cthulhu's Chosen in Craeon's hand. Wow.
Cthulhu Druid. Okay. It's been a while since we've seen this.
You know, when Whispers of the Old Gods first came out, Cthulhu Druid was all the rage. Everyone thought it was tier 1. And, of course, since then, it's fallen off dramatically in popularity.
So, looking at Delcevare's hand, I probably would think he would send at least... Yeah, he's going to send all that back, actually. And
Interesting that we did see a Druid of the Claw in his hand. That's not seen that often in aggro Druid, especially in conjunction with Bitter Tide Hydras.
Well, unfortunately for Craeon, he got the Innervate off the top, and one of the best turn 1 plays in this deck is Innervate Vicious Fledgling, and he did pull it off. And
oh man, this is just dirty.
This is gonna be bad.
Fledgling into the mark. Oh well, he didn't get Wind Fury, but
yeah, I'm assuming can't be targeted by spells or hero powers will probably be the option here.
Yeah, I like it. It means Craeon has no way to remove it.
All right, so looking at Craeon's hand, I gotta be honest, this hand's not looking good. This hand's not looking good at all.
This is looking pretty bad. I think the only thing you can do here is just play the Thalnos to cycle it, and hopefully you draw into Swipe. But I mean, you can't even target the Fledgling with Swipe anymore.
I mean, he does have the coin, and he does have the Disciple of Cthulhu, so the Disciple of Cthulhu can at least put 2 damage on the Vicious Fledgling. The problem is he's going to get at least 1 swing with it, and if he gets +3 health, then you just did that for no reason whatsoever. So I think I like your play better here as the Blood Mage Thalamus to cycle this.
Yeah, I agree going for the Thalnos here. Craeon really needs to pick up a Taunt or some Ramp really soon if he wants to stay in this game.
Well, that's a marketable Lotus, and actually, pretty much Delcevare, if he wants, he could just drop his hand with the exception of the Living Mana here, and he'll get Patches, he'll get Enchanted Raven. Oh yeah, and by the way, he'll still make the Vicious Fledgling a 6/6.
Wow. One thing I really liked about that Thalnos play is it means we get to see the new animation for Thalnos, and if the Thalnos dies this game, which it probably will, we'll also get to see the Death Rattle animation. It was recently updated.
All right, so he's going to go with the Divine Shield. I'm assuming Patches will go ahead and kill Blood Mage Thalamus. And gets 2 draws. I don't even know. Is he just admitting defeat here? That seems like an admitting defeat from Craeon.
I mean, I think this is very close to lethal with that Mark of the Lotus. If not, it's just lethal, yeah.
Wind Fury will, yeah, it is actually.
No, it's lethal without Wind Fury.
So Delcevare is going to win this 3-0. Is going to get the sweep on this for Kawasaki Ninja's rule. That's going to put them up 10-4 with 2 matches remaining in this series.
Yep, that's a nice sweep for Delcevare there, showing us the power of Aggro Druid if people were not aware of its power.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think latest Vicious Syndicate, I know it's tier 1. I don't know if it's number 1 deck or number 2 deck, but it's up there. It's still one of the most powerful decks in the game, and Delcevare just showed us why. So, looking towards our second match. Our second match this evening is a match of Drudded from Team Black Lotus against NecroticHS Team Next Level. Interesting kind of take on this week between these two teams. It started off with Mozzie having a, or sorry, Mozzie, not Muzzy. Muzzy does not play.
If only Muzzy played in DHL.
Muzzy and Dr. J would be playing in the same price seed or whatever. But so Mozzie had a DQ loss for failing to submit classes. And Arthur Rhodes, Knackle got a win very early in the week, putting the team up originally up 6. However, this guy named forceofwill, I have no clue who the hell he is, but he got swept by Deadly Kitten this weekend. And D. Lyman lost 1-3. So right now, as the match sits, it's Team Next Level at 10 points, Team Black Lotus at 9 points. So this will be the decider match. Is like if you win the match, you win the series.
Yeah, a lot of the line for both of these players, and they are. This is a 5-seed matchup, I believe. And both of these players also play on THL teams. Necrotic, I believe, is on Prep Coin Concede, and Drudded plays for NWA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he does. Yep. We're on both the same teams in both THL and SHL. So, yeah. And, of course, Drudded is actually known as one of the better 5 seeds in THL. This is actually, I believe, his first season in SHL. And admittedly, he has been struggling a little bit. He got his first win last week against, I believe, who were we playing last week? I forgot now. Defias. So, Defias Henchman. So it's like, but I have all the faith in the world in Drudded. I think he can take this through. It looks like their decks that they're running tonight. Drudded's going to have Mage, Paladin, Priest, and Warrior against Necrotic's Druid, Paladin, Shaman, and Warrior. Actually, Druid, Paladin, Shaman, and Warrior. That looks very much like Muzzy. I'm saying that one correctly this time from the NA Championship. But I don't think you necessarily want to bring that to SHL.
No. I don't think you do. Shaman, we didn't see it in the last match, but it's definitely a deck that's gaining in popularity over these past couple weeks, especially with Token Shaman and the Evolve variants that are running Doppelgangster. Yeah.
Actually, I apologize. Druid was not in that list. It was Rogue. So forget I said it. So Druid, Paladin, Shaman, Warrior versus kind of going the Druid Mage. So if you're looking at these decks here, what would you sort of be thinking ban-wise from each of these players?
Let's see. I would, looking at both of these lineups, I wouldn't be surprised to just see a double Paladin ban. Paladin is just still one of the strongest and most versatile classes in the game. I don't think Shaman is a really good ban if you're running aggro, because Shaman generally does well against aggressive decks. But with the Drudded running Mage and Priest, I think he's taking more of a control-oriented line, especially with Priest. You can't really run an aggro deck in that, so I don't think he'll ban Shaman. I would bet that he's banning Paladin with that Priest bring.
It's like, and we actually just did get word here that you are correct. It is a double Pally ban for these for Drudded and for Necrotic.
Yep. So not surprised by that.
All right, so let's see.
So that's going to leave Drudded on Mage, Priest, and Warrior, and Necrotic on Druid, Shaman, and Warrior.
So Necrotic, if I'm guessing, Necrotic might be the aggro deck here. Is like, I guess it depends on what the Mage and the Warrior are Drudded, but Priest, there's no aggro Priest variant. I mean, Silence Priest can finish the game really fast, but I don't know if I would call that an aggro deck as much as a weird sort of combo deck.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't exactly call it aggro.
But anyway, so we're just waiting for them to get in game right now. They're still in lineup, so
yeah, looks like they'll be starting pretty soon. Do you have any predictions so far as what these players will start with?
I'm sort of guessing here. I wouldn't be surprised if Drudded leads off with the Mage here. I think the Mage, if it's Secret or Burn Mage, I think would probably be okay against the remaining lineup of Druid, Shaman, Warrior. I could also see the Priest, possibly, depending on what type of Priest it is, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Druid lead out with the Mage. Necrotic, maybe the Druid?
Well, yeah, looks like you're right. Drudded is going to lead with the Mage, and Necrotic is going with the Druid here. He's on Jade Druid, which is really good against the slower variants of Mage, like Burn Mage, but it's not as good against Secret Mage, and judging by the Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Potion of Polymorph that we saw in Drudded's hand, I would guess that this is Secret Mage.
Yep, and actually we just saw a Mirror Entity come to hand, so this is definitely a Secret Mage deck. Interestingly, he's playing main deck Mana Bind here.
Wow, so Mana Bind and Potion of Polymorph actually in Drudded's deck. Pretty interesting inclusions. I've seen both of them run as one-ofs, but not both together. I'm wondering what he's trying to hit with those both of those secrets.
I'm assuming Potion, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% certain on what he's trying to hit here, but it looks like Necrotic's just going to play the Jade Golem and hit that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Drudded just hero power this off and then hit face.
He could hero power it off. He might just go ahead and play a secret like Mirror Entity here to give him a little bit more future tempo on the board. I don't think Drudded needs to deal with this 1/1 necessarily. It's not posing much of a threat right now.
Yeah, it's not. So yeah, I could see Mirror Entity. Also, I do not believe, and I was a little late to getting into this match, but I have not seen a mana ramp card yet. I could also potentially see Mana Bind as well. But he is going to go with the Mirror Entity here. And then it looks like he is going to just clear off the 1/1 with the Arcanologist.
Yep, and this is fine. So Necrotic here, picking up the Wild Growth, definitely a card that he wants to see, but you have to be scared of Counterspell in this situation. So I wonder if he wants to play the Jade Idol first to try to play around Counterspell before he plays Wild Growth. And even if it ends up not being Counterspell, having the 2/2 on the board isn't too bad.
Yep, and he just figured out it is not. Now, Jade Idol number 2, I'm assuming, actually, I'm surprisingly actually going with the Summon 2/2 there, versus maybe potentially waiting for, what am I thinking of? Waiting to shuffle it back into the deck to get more Jades.
No, I like playing the 2/2 out here. I think that you value the Wild Growth over the 2/2 more, so I would have liked him play. I would have liked to see him play the Jade Idol first instead of Wild Growthing first. But I like playing the 2/2 here. It contests the board against this Arcanologist.
So Drudded has a couple options here. He could do Sorcerer's Apprentice into Frostbolt, get the 2/2 off the field, or he could put the Arcanologist into it and then just do Sorcerer's Apprentice into Mana Bind, and then set up next turn for a 2-mana Cabal Crystal Runner.
Yep, he's got a lot of options in his hand right now. He could also just play a 4-mana 5/5 right now, but he probably wants to save it given the amount of secrets he has in his hand. Yeah, so I like the Sorcerer's Apprentice Frostbolt. If the Apprentice ends up sticking, he can just go with actually, even if the Apprentice doesn't stick, he can just play a secret and a 5/5 next turn. So this is pretty good.
I would say, and Drudded's Mirror Entity is going to get triggered here for the Jade Behemoth, so he will get a 3/6 taunt. And actually, interestingly now, with that Kirin Tor pickup, he can Kirin Tor play any one of the secrets and still play a 2-mana 5/5.
Yeah, that's true. That Kieran Tor is a huge pickup here. Kieran Tor, probably go with a mirror entity again. It just seems stronger than Mana Bind, and then get a 5/5 on the board. And this is what Jade Druid, exactly what Jade Druid doesn't want to see, is really early boards that like just, basically really aggressive early boards. It really struggles to deal with that.
Actually, it looks like he's just going to play the Secret now, and then use the Frostbolt, and then use the 2 remaining mana to go ahead and play the Cabal Crystal Runner here. And that way he does get to keep a little more of his board as well, and we'll get to push phase 4, or push phase for 2 and kill the Jade Golem, or the Jade creature.
Yeah. So he ends up fitting the Frostbolt in here. Again, I think I would have liked to see the Kieran Tor instead, but this is still extremely strong. Necrotic just plays this Jade Behemoth out there, and because of the Mana Bind, Drudded isn't going to get a 3/6 taunt. I really think the Mirror Entity was the better secret to play.
I agree.
Because in this situation, Mana Bind probably gets procced by like Innervate. And what is Innervate doing for Drudded right now? Not that much. He doesn't have a lot of cards in hand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So, so for Drudded this turn, he can use the Cabal Crystal Runner and ping to kill the Jade Behemoth and then push forward with the other 5. And then still play Kieran Tor Mage and Mirror Entity here. Chances are that will probably pick up the Primordial Drake that's in his hand right now.
Yeah, Drudded definitely has to start thinking about that Primordial Drake. Although, it's not the worst thing if he plays into it, because if he plays the Mirror Entity, he will get back that 4/8 taunt. But yeah, it's very tempting to just hit that 5/5 in and ping it, but that will play right into Primordial Drake.
Yeah, he might want to think about playing around it. In that case, he would lose his other 2 creatures, but at that point, then it's still dead because he can kill the 4/4, or the 4/4 will kill it before the Primordial Drake comes down. So, yeah, it looks like he is going to go with the 5/5 ping, and then Kieran Tor Mage, and then just Mirror Entity here.
Yep. So, Necrotic, I would assume he's just going to slam the Primordial Drake. He might want to play the Innervate first to maybe check for a counterspell. And if it doesn't get counterspell, then he will probably want to use the Wrath to cycle, I would believe.
All right, so he does just drop the Primordial Drake here. Now, good thing for Drudded, he does have Firelands Portal. Now, Kawasaki is a terrible pickup. But Firelands Portal, at least with the Kieran Tor Mage, will kill the Primordial Drake here and get him some 5-drop.
Yeah, Portal is really good. I'm really surprised that Necrotic didn't play the Wrath to take out that 4/1. Because now Drudded didn't have to trade his Primordial Drake, and that 4/8 is at full health, and he has no way of dealing with it.
So for Drudded, it'll be interesting to see what he does here, because Necrotic has 3 different spells he could use and put in his hand right now, or he could do right now. Now, Mana Bind will make sure that he gets one. He is going to Feral Rage, and that will be Mana Bind, so Drudded will get a 0-mana Feral Rage.
Okay, yeah, and again, I don't know why he played the Feral Rage first. I really would have liked to see the Innervate to check for counterspell, and it also plays around Mana Bind.
Oh, that's a nice pickup there.
Wow, Meteor.
Meteor will, as I actually right now, I believe he could use the Primordial Drake to kill Aya, and then still use the Meteor to finish off the 6/6 that comes out and just leave a 5/5 up.
Yeah, and it would only leave a 5/2, and he can even clear the board then with his Ally Armorsmith if he wants to.
Or better yet, he can use his Feral Rage that he just got to finish off the 5/5. Oh, actually, he's just going to do that. And then...
Yeah, I think this is fine.
Yeah. This works.
He pings face instead of playing the Cabal Lackey, though. I don't think the 2/1 ever gets better.
I don't think so
I think he should have just played it, but that's okay. This Primordial Drake is a huge pickup.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Necrotic cycles the Wrath now and is going to get the full board clear.
See, and here's the problem with Secret Mage sometimes. It does just happen to just run out of gas, because now it's a potion of polymorph. The next creature that's coming down is Burgly Bully, which I mean is a good thing to polymorph, but still not really ideal.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a problem with Secret Mage. It can just run out of steam really quickly. Necrotic here, that bully is good, but again, I would have liked to see the ooze played first to play around the secret.
Because chances are, Secret Mage, I mean, I haven't seen a Secret Mage deck that's been running Medivh. So there's no weapon you're going to pick up with that gluttonous ooze. So
that's true. Medivh is probably the reason that he didn't play it, but it's so rarely seen in Secret Mage. It's probably not worth playing around. I would just like to see the 3/3 for tempo.
All right, so Drudded's going to kill the sheep that he made, and then, unfortunately for him, it's like he still has a 4/7, and even the thing in his hand right now doesn't necessarily clear a 4/7. Yeah,
he just can't really do anything right now. Earthen Scales is going to get counterspelled, and then I guess Necrotic's just going to pass. If you've committed to saving that Gluttonous Ooze, then you're going to save it this turn as well.
All right, so Drudded does pick up the Arcanologist. I believe he has one more counterspell in the deck currently. Most decks are running 2 counterspells right now. I believe we have only seen 1. So he will get something off of this. And yeah, it's the other counterspell. And then you can go ahead and do counterspell, and then ping the Primordial Drake, because if he decides to kill the Arcanologist, then he can finish it off with the Feral Rage. But Necrotic, I think, just got the thing that might end this game, which is the Nourish.
Yep. As long as he innervates first to check for counterspell, Nourish should give him enough gas to end the game.
Yeah, he's like, well, actually, he's gonna
Feral Rage. I guess he's valuing Innervate over Feral Rage. I don't really know why, but the important thing is that he gets the Nourish off.
Yeah, and
Coon the Forgotten King.
Whoa, hello. Why are you in here, Coon? It's like, so, yep. The days of Aviana Cthulhu are gone now, thanks to the standard rotation. But, well, Drudded just did pick up a Battling Book, so let's see what he gets here. Fireball's not bad.
Fireball's decent. I think he is just going to Feral Rage to kill this Primordial Drake off. That's more efficient. It makes sense.
And then he can just Fireball the face. And now, from what I'm looking at right here, I'm seeing that he's played 1 Firelance Portal, but he hasn't actually played any Fireballs yet. He's played both his Frostbolts. So, and he may be even running a Pyroblast for all we know in this deck. So he still has burn capable here, but...
That's true. A lot of Necrotic's heal is gone, except for the Earthen Scales that we see in hand. Gadgeton is a really nice pickup here. This is exactly what Necrotic needs. I think you probably just start with playing Earthen Scales on the Gadgeton. Getting only 5 heal out of it isn't that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, he can swipe face here, and then just that'll finish off the Battling Book.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, 2 spells off of that. I think he could have gotten a lot more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you just go ahead and cycle that Earthen Scales. Maybe Necrotic is just playing as safe as possible. He knows that he's going to win the value game, so he's only scared about losing to excessive burn from the Mage, so he just wants to save that Earthen Scales.
About to say, and if he would have cycled it, he would have gotten the Wild Growth, which would have let him continue going off and drawing through his deck. Now, admittedly, he only does have 7 cards in library, so he is losing the fatigue game right now, but I don't think this is a game that's going to go to fatigue, especially considering he just got a 7/7 and a 2/4.
I don't think so. It seems like Necrotic is going to be able to finish this game off in the next couple turns.
Yeah, and he's holding Swipe in hand, so right now there's lethal in hand, and there's nothing he has that will actually stop it. So it looks like Necrotic will win game 1 here with J-Druid.
Yep. He just needs to swipe face, and that'll do it.
No, if I was him, I would not play. Okay. why would you let your opponent know that Coon is in your deck?
Yeah.
Except for lulz.
No, I agree. I mean, it's a cool animation at all. If you want golden, I mean, if you have golden Coon, you definitely want to show it. But the better play would probably be to just conceal that information and not play it that turn.
All right, so the Druid is down for Drudded. Mage is down. So Priest or Warrior. If that's Taunt Warrior, I'm loading up the Priest every single time here.
Yeah, if it's Taunt Warrior, those would both be two bad matchups. So we do see Drudded go with the Priest. Priest can struggle with Jade Druid too, unless it is Silence Priest. Silence Priest does very well against Jade Druid. But it looks like it's Dragon Priest.
Yep.
And Dragon Priest, it might be slightly favored. I'm not quite sure about this matchup.
I'm not 100% certain either. That being said, Drudded actually has. Honestly, I would maybe even just think about tossing back the one Northshire card because the other 3 cards in hand are actually decent.
Yeah, with that good early game start, he could think about keeping the Nether Spite and the Drachnid Operative, but at the same time, it's really important to get off to a good aggressive start against Jade Druid because, they're always going to win in the long game. So he might throw some of those cards back, just keep one Northshire, and look for something like a Radiant Elemental.
And it's like, well, he's going to keep all 4, but also Necrotic kept his hand as well, which is fine because Necrotic is holding a Wild Girth and a Jade Blossom as well, so he will be able to really ramp the next 2 turns.
Yeah, this is a really nice curve for Necrotic here. Even picking up that Jade Behemoth too, even though it doesn't curve directly from the Jade Spirit, it's just another strong Jade card that he can play on curve. Drudded there, going for the Nether Spite instead of the Radiant Elemental. I think I would have liked to see the extra attack from the Radiant Elemental there. It seems a little bit better. You can always play that Nether Spite. You aren't going to lose a dragon in hand anytime soon.
Yeah, it's like, though, he only has one other spell in hand at this moment. But yeah, I think you're right. Aggression-wise, yes, it would have been better to go the other route. Now, if Drudded really wants to, he can draw 2 cards here.
He can. But let's look at that last turn from Necrotic. He chose to just ramp rather than playing the Jade Spirit. And that gives up the board a little bit, but it does allow him to play the Jade Behemoth this turn. So if his opponent doesn't have Shadow Word Pain, it will contest the board very well. Unfortunately for him, Drudded does have the Pain in hand, so I think we are just going to see the Shadow Word Pain come down, probably the Radiant Elemental along with it, I would assume, and he can even coin out Hero Power if he wants to heal one of his minions.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's probably the best play. You have the Radiant Elemental. All right, he's just going to go that route, and then I think maybe drop the Cabal Talon Priest here.
Oh, I actually didn't even see the Talon Priest in his hand. Okay, yeah, so this makes sense. Buffing one of your Northshires is good, and then you get a 3/4 on the board.
So for Necrotic here, he could Nourish, or he could drop the Jade Spirit as well. The Jade Spirit doesn't really contest this board pretty much at all.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of leaning towards the Nourish right now. Just get more cards, reload, and...
I think I like Burgly Bully here. Just because Priest has a hard time dealing with 4-attack minions. It can give you more coins too, which is useful when you have a value-heavy hand with Nourish and Primordial Drake. But he chooses to go with the Jade Spirit instead. This will allow some pretty good trades for Drudded.
I say, and actually Necrotic will bump it up into... Oh, that's... After you use the Earthen Scales, that's not the card.
Yeah.
That's the exact card you want to see in your hand there.
I'm not even sure why he played the Earthen Scales that turn. I guess it means that it doesn't die to Talon Priest as easily, and with the minions in hand, he doesn't really want to buff either the Primordial Drake or the Burgly Bully, but still, he could have gotten more value out of that card later on.
Now, Drudded sees this. I'm thinking this is drop Radiant Elemental, Shadow Word Pain, and you'll have 2 mana left over to heal the Cabal Talon Priest after you put it into that 3/3, and you'll draw 2 cards on top of that.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. The only downside of that play is that he is still delaying playing this Draconid Operative, and it's so strong, just not even getting the card, but that 5/6 body against Druid is really good. But going wide and drawing cards is also good. So we are going to see this line.
Well, unfortunately for Necrotic, well, he did actually just pick up the swipe, so he could kill something, but the Primordial Drake's not even going to kill anything on this board at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't kill anything, but it does put up a huge 4-attack wall that Drudded can't get through. Primordial Drake is really strong here because, yeah, Drudded doesn't have any card in his deck that can just remove this Primordial Drake.
Not unless he's running Inner Fire and can change his attack to 8 before using Shadow Word Death. But
oh, that's true. Inner Fire is sometimes seen in these Dragon Priest lists.
It's like, but I mean, if he wants to see if that's a possibility, he can heal one of his minions first, and then actually, would that overdraw him? No, he has 8 cards in hand, so he's fine if he does that. So he could heal one of the minions first, see what he does get. Unfortunately, the Dragonfire Potion in hand will not help the situation at all.
No,
but he could also Draconid Operative here.
I like the Operative. Wrath seems like the clear pick here.
Yeah, because I think
and he takes it.
With the Wrath, he can clear this. He can clear this.
Yep. Yeah, just Wrath for 3 damage, and then trade your Radiant Elemental in. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep. All right, so for Necrotic this turn, this looks like a Nourish swipe and get one of these things off the battlefield right now.
Yeah, this is tough. Burgly Bully dies pretty easily to the board, so maybe he wants to hold off on it. But at the same time, giving up the board this turn, it's pretty weak because now it's hard for him to ever get back onto the board. So I wonder, with that Wrath pickup, I wonder if he could Wrath and Hero Power and kill both Northshires, or he could cycle one of the Wraths and only kill one of them off.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not certain what's the better option here. I think, well, the thing is, he also got the Gadget Sand Auctioneer so onto that cheap spell until next turn so that he can cycle it regardless of which way he does it. He can cycle for 1 or cycle for 2. But it looks like he is going to play this, and he will go ahead and kill the other Northshire Cleric.
Yep. So this shuts down some of the draw potential that the Priest has, but of course they've already gotten so much value out of that Northshire Cleric. It's like the deed has basically been done. They've done what they're supposed to do.
Unfortunately for him, he's also holding 2 additional Draconid Operatives here if he wants to get another card in his deck. But he could do Priest of the Feast and pump it with, or pump one of the creatures with the Cabal Talon Priest as well. So
yeah, I really like this.
I like this too.
Yeah, playing on curve, just get up a huge board. You know, the Druid doesn't have any way to clear this or even attempt to deal with a 5/9 unless Necrotic is running Yogg.
Which, I mean, I don't think we saw his complete deck. He might be running Yogg, but we have not seen that yet. Honestly, yeah, it's like he's going to get a 7/7 on field and just refresh his mana crystals, and then
I like this.
Yeah, just contest the board as much as possible.
Yeah. This is the most amount of stats that he can get on the board this turn. So this is probably correct. He just is really trying to not fall too far behind.
Oh, okay. So Drudded is running Elise in this deck. Now, Drudded has a couple different options here that he could go with this. He could attempt to bring all the opponent's minions down to less than 5 health, and then use Dragonfire Potion, which will clear everything except his Draconid Operative. He could also use Power Word Shield to do that. So, but he also is also holding Shadow Word Pain or Shadow Word Death, so he can clear Coon at that point as well.
Yeah, I really like the Shadow Word Death here. He can play the Draconid Operative first, and then go with the Shadow Word Death, and he can even clear one of these minions off too. He can actually completely clear the board off if he wants to, which it looks like he's going for right now.
And actually, he did it in the right order to make sure that Necrotic does not get a coin here.
Yeah, that's true. You do want to kill that burgly bully at first. He is going to like heal his minions up, just increase their health, rather than playing another 5/6 onto the board. I'm not really sure what that's playing around. I think I would have just liked to see the 5/6.
So Necrotic has an option here. It looks like he's going to go Gadget Zane Auctioneer, swipe. He will get a card draw from Gadget Zane Auctioneer, but he'll still have a 5/7 on the field.
Yeah, Necrotic still just is out of any way to deal with this Dracnet Operative. And another one's going to come down here. Ooh, interesting choice. Maybe you just take the Jade Behemoth because it's the most value out of the choices.
I think I agree with that. It's like you get a 3/6 taunt out of it, and you get a 1/1. And you're holding another Dracnet Operative, so you might, get something else Jade related later on. So,
yeah, that's true. There's always that possibility. Drudded. Okay, so instead of playing Priest of the Feast, he's going to heal and play Radiant Elemental. That's okay. That protects one of your operatives from Primordial Drake, so it makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's like Necrotic just picked up his second Primordial Drake. Again, it's not even clear the board, and even more unfortunately for him in this case, he actually does have two creatures that will be able to kill this relatively easily here. Actually, he is looking possibly at using that Wrath to bring, I guess, the injured Draconic Operative's health down to 1. So that way the Primordial Drake will kill it.
Yeah. I think I agree with that play, Primordial Drake. Wrath to just kill off that operative. He could also cycle the Wrath on the Radiant Elemental, but I think he wants to kill the operative off instead, so his Primordial Drake has a chance of surviving.
All right. Well, Pushing Madness does nothing at this point. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's like he's holding another Dragon Operative, but he doesn't have a dragon to go with it. He has Jade Behemoth, but that doesn't really get to the point of clearing off the Primordial Drake either.
Yeah, this is I mean this just shows the power of Primordial Drake against Priest. Drudded, again, pretty big hand size, but no way to deal that one extra damage that can kill this Primordial Drake off. So he's just going to have to build up his own board instead.
It's like, and Necrotic here is just going to nourish. Okay, so he does pick up Aya. Unfortunately, really doesn't have a whole lot. He could use the Feral Rage if he wants to to finish off the Jade Behemoth, but I don't know if that's the best line here for this.
Yeah, this is tough because he can't clear off two minions. He could play Earthen Scales, but then he's still one off getting through that Jade Behemoth and finishing off the Drachnid Operative.
Right, so he's going to Earthen Scales here, and okay, there you go. He can actually hero power, so he still keeps 6 health on his minion, and then
right.
So Lyra.
Yeah, so this way, Necrotic can kill off the Jade Behemoth. However, he does leave his Primordial Drake at 5 attack, which means it is now vulnerable to a Shadow or Death. We've seen one of those used this game, I believe.
It's like, now, Drudded here, he plays the Naked Dragon Operative without a dragon in hand, which makes me think, how many other dragons is he playing here? Because it seems like a really odd play if you have other dragons in your deck.
Yeah, he could have just played the Elise instead, and the Elise is 1 less health, but that isn't too important at the moment, and it shuffles an Unguro pack into his deck and gives him time to maybe draw into a dragon next turn. So yeah, I'm sort of surprised to see that come down there over the Elise.
Now, as for Necrotic, he's actually going to draw through a good portion of his deck here. He picked up the Innervate off the first draw from the Wild Growth. And then, I think he's debating whether to use the swipe to clear both the Elemental off, or does he want to shuffle that Jade Idol back into his deck?
Yeah, well, this is actually his first Jade Idol, so he can...
Oh, it is?
I believe it is, so...
that is correct. That is correct.
Played it for a minion if you wanted to there, but he is just going to swipe and draw another card and clear off some of the board. I think that this is fine.
Now, Drudded here actually has a an interesting start to plays here. He could Lyra, and then why would you do that before you play the Lyra?
Yeah, I'm also not sure. I definitely would have liked to see the Lyra come down first. He picks up Defender of Argus. I wonder why he's running that. I guess as possible anti-aggro tech.
I'm assuming it's like so he will get
pretty good here.
Yeah. Now, interesting thing that I want to point out here is Drudded has 9 cards on the deck. We have not seen a Shadow Visions as of yet.
That's true. Maybe yeah, you would assume that they're just in his bottom 9 cards, but you're right. We haven't seen either of those so far.
Now,
and there it is.
There it is. Okay, so he can get his Angoro pack right now if he would like.
Yep. And yeah, I think he will with Lyra. You can Potion of Madness first. That's fine.
Oh, there's the Angoro pack.
Yep. It seems like the pick here, although I wonder if Drudded decides that he has enough value to close out the game anyways and just picks up the Shadow Word Death to deal with this 6/6. Or wait, would he have enough mana to do that? Oh, no, he only has 2 mana right now, actually.
Now, I'm interested in your thought here, because looking at the current board state, this seemed like a really good time for Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. Dragonfire Potion would have cleared off a bunch of those minions. And we can see Necrotic's hand, he doesn't really have any good refill. He only has the single Jade that he can play and a 3/3. So Dragonfire would have been good, but at the same time, playing Lyra when you can hide her behind 2 taunts is really strong. This all but guarantees that she'll stick another turn.
Yep. All right. So, okay. So now he has to shuffle the second one. He's 1 card left in his deck. So, yep, he will shuffle that. And so that means we're gonna start seeing a lot of cheap 1 mana Jades coming out.
Yep. If Necrotic can even get to that point, he's trying to survive. He's using Feral Rags to heal here, but Drudded still has a lot of stuff on the board. He still has that Lyra, and he's just like a Divine Spirit and Inner Fire away from ending this game next turn.
He is. Actually, he's just pumping up the armor he's back up to 31 health, 32 health after the hero power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're Drudded here, I guess you probably start with Shadow Word Death.
I agree. I think you Shadow Word Death here, see what you get. Thought Steal. I mean, you'll get you'll get 2 Jade Idols.
Yeah. I mean, not the worst thing, but your Jades are already so small compared to Necrotics. Holy Nova. These are not the pickups that you want from Lyra.
No, it's not. No, you want to get the combo to try to finish the game out as soon as possible. Now, he did pick up the Primordial Drake here, so that is something, but
Primordial Drake is pretty decent. Necrotic's gonna get a 1 mana 9/9 here and kill the Lyra off. So pretty good. He doesn't I mean, there isn't much he can do in terms of drawing. He's already used both of his Gaggus and Auctioneers, but I mean, he is still getting a Jade every turn.
Well, he could put in his 2 creatures into the 9/9 and then use the Dragonfire Potion to clear off both these minions, and then even put a Priest of the Feast down on the field after that.
Yep, yeah, I like this play from Drudded here. Clear the board, develop a minion of your own.
All right, so Necrotic does pick up the Jade Behemoth that we saw. So he's got a 10/10 there and a Necrotic Ooze.
So Drudded, he still has a Shadow Word Death in his deck. And that Shadow Visions is going to be able to pull the death. So yeah, that's really strong. Drudded should know that he is guaranteed to pull Shadow Word Death from his Shadow Visions here. So I think I'd like to see that. It does cost 5 mana, but at the same time, can you really afford to let this 10/10 live on the board this turn?
I do not believe you can, so I actually agree with that play. I think Shadow Visions into get that death out of there, and then actually, if he drops the J Behemoth, he was not going to have enough mana to do this.
Okay, so he chooses to go with Shadow Word Pain instead.
He's thinking to go Phage.
This is okay too. Going wide is pretty strong in this position because you know exactly what your opponent has. You know they just have Jade Idols in their deck and nothing else, so they have no sort of board clear to deal with a wide board. So this play actually might have been better for Drudded here.
So, all right, so I'm going to push face. Now, I'm trying to think what creatures are left here. Well, Potion of Madness is laughable at this point. I mean, Primordial Drake will put some damage on those 2 Jade Golems here. Or he could just bump up one of his things to like a 5'11" or 5'9".
Yeah, Power Word Tentacles is pretty strong. Actually, is this last card in Necrotic's deck a Jade Idol?
It is a Jade Idol. So yes, he will probably shuffle that in to...
Okay, I must be counting wrong, yeah. No, you're right, it has to be a Jade Idol. But he won't be able to play it out this turn, or he can if he wants to, but then he is just out of minions completely for the rest of the game.
Yep, it is the Jade Idol here. And so, yeah, he's got to shuffle, or he's going to, yeah.
But yep, he will shuffle.
But that means no minion on the battlefield. And currently, Necrotic is at 5, or is at 15. He's tearing down 8 power here. And he picks up his second Primordial Drake, so he could just throw a taunt and push 8 to the face and say, "All right, I'm gonna make you get through this to beat."
I really like the Primordial Drake here too. Necrotic going face, it's probably correct. He can't. Well, he actually could have cleared that Priest of the Feast off if he wanted to, but that just gives your opponent board initiative back, and you don't really want that.
He may also, I think, what he's maybe considering here is doing this and then just doing the Angoro pack and see what he picks up.
Yeah, he really needs to play that Angoro pack. It can give him a lot of things. He can get, direct removal for these Jades if he wants to.
Oh, he would overdraw if he did it though. I see why he held off on it. He would have overdrawed this turn.
Well, sometimes yes, but if he had played it first and not hero powered, he could have gotten any card that cost 2 mana or less and played it in the same turn.
So he does pick up. Well,
Deathwing Dragonlord has to be the pick, right?
Sure, yeah, it has to be. It's like when your opponent's at this low health total, is like you. I mean, yes, he's going to be able to kill this Primordial Drake, but yeah, I mean, it's just not going to be. Actually, I believe Drudded has lethal. He just has to use both his Holy Novas here.
Yeah, that's right. It's lethal.
If he sees it.
It looks like he does.
Yep, he's grabbing both of them, so he does see it. So Drudded will pick up this win here with the Dragon Priest. So, and we'll even up the series 1-1. Necrotic now has his options of his Shaman and his Warrior left. Which do you like going up against this Priest deck?
It really just depends on what the archetypes are. I think I would lean towards Warrior. Pirate Warrior is definitely favored against the Dragon Priest, and Taunt Warrior is about 50-50, maybe a slight favorite.
Yeah, it's like that's sort of what I was thinking as well, was where, because Token Shaman in a deck that's running 2 Dragon Fire Potions, that can't be great, but it does look like for Necrotic here, it does look like he does have Pirate Warrior because we see good old Patches in hand.
Yep, we see Patches. We also see the Grimy Gadgeteer. Now, this is not a common inclusion in Pirate Warrior. We saw this on Friday Night Fight when Ridiculous Hat brought it in his Pirate Warrior. And it can be useful in buffing cards like Corcoran Elite and Leroy. And it's also just a pretty good minion against Priest in general. It's a 4/3. It has 4 attacks, so Priests don't have direct removal for it. So I kind of like the inclusion from Necrotic here. It's a pretty cool card that doesn't see play too often.
I do too. And I believe this was in one of the quarterfinalists from the Americas.
Oh, it was Ant.
Yeah.
Ant was playing this in his list.
Yeah.
Ant's a good guy. You guys should all watch him stream. I do from time to time.
All right, so Necrotic just going to coin out the Fiery War Axe and just kill the Northshire Cleric, and Drudded is not going to toss out the second Northshire Cleric to needlessly die. So, Necrotic did pick up the South Sea Deckhand, which will pull patches.
Yeah, so you pull the patches here, and this sets up for a turn 3 Bloodsail Cultist.
Actually, I think he's going to drop that Enzyme. He's going to drop that Enzyme to refresh his weapon, and then next turn he'll have a 2/4 instead of a. I think I'm with you. I think I would rather have kept the Fiery War Axe and kept the charge on it and make it a 4 power weapon.
It would be a 4/2 weapon. Yeah, 4/2 weapon is pretty powerful. However, this play does mean that if there is a Potion of Madness, he will have 1 minion stick, assuming that potion isn't accompanied by a Shadow Word Pain. So this makes it more likely that you will have a pirate stick to get that Bloodsail Cultist proc.
So he's going to Shadow Visions. He took the immediate Dragon Potion. He will be able to clear one of these two off, and probably going to just leave patches here.
Yep, and this is fine. It's not a full clear, and you don't really want to use your Shadow Word Pain on just a 1/1, so this is fine for Drudded to leave this 1 pirate up.
So he will get the weapon buff from the Bloodsail Cultist. Necrotic just had Galaka Crawler come to his hand. Pretty much he's only going to be able to eat his own creatures, because I seriously doubt Drudded is running any pirates in his deck. So,
yeah. That Galaka Crawler, that must be for the mirror match. He must be assuming that Drudded is running Pirate Warrior, because Priest and Mage definitely don't run any pirates. Interesting inclusion.
So actually, interestingly enough, Necrotic decided versus buffing the weapon to just throw the South Sea Captain, which I mean basically does the exact same thing here, is buffs the patches in this case. But,
right. It does get you it gets you the same amount of damage this turn, sort of, but I think the Cultist was overall better.
I agree.
If your opponent has Shadow Word Pain, you would rather it go on the Cultist than the South Sea Captain for 1. And also, if both your minions end up sticking, that's more value for your South Sea Captain on the following turn.
Okay, so pretty much the only thing that... Alright, so he does drop the Frothing Berserker here. Basically, next turn you have Dragonfire Potion. I was going to say I would not drop something, but apparently Drudded disagrees. He wants to put something on the battlefield. I don't know why you would, because when you have the Dragonfire next turn, and as long as you print no creatures, that Frothing is not going to get any bigger.
That's true. Yeah, I think I also would have liked to see Drudded just pass there. You know the Dragonfire can come down. There's nothing your opponent can do to counter it. They can't put any minions on the board that don't die to it. However, passing there could have been a tell that you had the Dragonfire Potion in hand.
True.
So maybe this makes Necrotic more likely to think that his opponent doesn't have it. And we can see that he's overextending now.
He did. This is going to be a big punish on Necrotic. And actually, thanks to the Cabal Talon Priest, the Northshire Cleric will live to pretty much as long as Necrotic doesn't want to put that weapon into it. Which he will. I'm
sure he will. I think you just have to play a minion out there, though. Just at least play the Galaka Crawler at the very least.
Something.
And Drudded just has a hand of no playable cards, so he has to pass on turn 7. Hashtag just priest things.
Unfortunately, Necrotic's not doing much better. He has a Galaka Crawler, which I would probably play first before you play anything else if you're going to toss it out here. And then a Bloodsail Cultist that you can't really buff anything. But
nope. Pretty awkward hand.
But the Drake can kill this right here. Or not kill it, but put 2 damage on the Galaka Crawler. And really, honestly, with most priest decks, or most Pirate Warrior decks, they're not getting through a 8-taunt minion.
Usually, yeah. I don't know. I don't really see why he wouldn't just play the Primordial Drake there. Because it's so hard for the Pirate Warrior to get through. This way, you open yourself up to taking more damage just from your opponent's board, and then they might have the burst with Mortal Strike to get kill you through the taunt.
I say, well, he is going to get a taunt here, but it's going to be Priest of the Feast being taunted up by the Defender of Argus, which is still big enough for... Actually, it will die, but it will take both the creature and the Arcanite charge with it. So.
Yep. Yeah, so Necrotic has no choice but to just clear this taunt. He could have just saved the upgrade, and then... I guess it doesn't really matter, but he didn't necessarily have to play the upgrade.
He doesn't have... Now, Drudded doesn't have a choice. He has to throw the Primordial Drake out here with a 6-power weapon on the Arcanite Reaper on Necrotic. He's got to toss it out there.
This Heroic Strike pickup, this means Necrotic is going to be able to get through the Primordial Drake without using his Mortal Strike.
Yep, and then he will be able to Hero Power. Yeah, right now... This is just a really awkward hand for both players right now.
Really? Necrotic could have played the Bloodseal Cultist out there to contest the Defender of Argus, but I guess he's saving it in hopes of top-decking a Pirate next turn, so he can get another charge to his Arcanite Reaper. And yeah, Drudded just can't do anything. I think pretty rightfully he wants to save that Nether Spite to get a dragon.
Well, Necrotic will use up his weapon, and then we'll switch out for another. So there's still a chance for it to be buffed again by the Bloodseal Cultist.
Yep.
Now, the problem is, since they're at 10 mana... Well, actually, let's see. Let's see what he gets off the Nether Spite Historian.
None of these are what you want against Pirate Warrior.
No. It's like, I mean, I guess you could take Deathwing to clear the board if need be, but yeah, none of this is really good.
I guess Deathwing is probably the best pick. You could just take Nozdormu for the memes.
So, now, once whatever dragon he picks here, unfortunately, and I don't know if he knows this, but he's dead to like a top deck Leroy. Whoa! Okay,
wow.
Ravasaur Runt in this deck.
Do you take the Ravasaur Runt there and try to adapt for a taunt?
Yeah, that's what I would have
maybe
done.
the heal is more valuable.
Well, I believe he is. Well, it doesn't matter. He didn't actually get. He didn't get Leroy, but.
Why is Ravasaur Runt in Necrotic's deck? What is that replacing?
Admittedly, you do get a wide board, so I can see where the potential for it could be good. But in general, I'm like, really? Okay, not really what you want to see here.
Maybe if it was a pirate, it would be worth including, but it just doesn't really have synergy with the rest of your deck. And it's, as we see here, it's a pretty bad top deck. But I guess in the early game, it's a decent card.
Well, he's got a Primordial Drake, but right now he's got to hope he's just not. Right now, if he doesn't heal his face, or some form of a taunt up, he's dead.
Yeah, Drudded's forced to heal his face here, and Necrotic just needs to top deck 2 damage. That is not 2 damage.
Well, he will be able to buff his weapon, though. So it will be able to get up to 6.
That's true. So he is 1 off lethal right now.
Right. Unfortunately for him, he has the Drake in hand, and he has just enough power to put into both those minions to be able to.
Wait, why is he not playing the Ravasaur Runt? You could get stealth.
Yeah. It's like, all right. So the Drake will clear this off. Now he's got to be Okay, he's gonna heal his face. All right. So yeah, that's about as low as he can take this. Now, unfortunately, for Necrotic, he does not know that he got Leroy Jenkins off of this. So
yeah,
it's like, so I believe he is. Well, no, he's 1 off lethal.
Let's see, 9. Yeah, you're right. Drudded is 1 off lethal right now. So he can still die to a possible second Mortal Strike top deck from Necrotic.
So,
or wait, no, he doesn't even die to that. If he plays around it. Okay, he does not play around Mortal Strike.
No,
he could have
does
just not attacked at all, and then Necrotic would not have been able to proc Mortal Strike. So definitely a significant misstep from Drudded there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But it's not going to matter either way because he is going to have lethal here. He'll be able to do 6 to face, and then it's like you can put 6 into that, and then play the Inzel's first mate. He really wants to drop his hand.
He's dead.
Yeah, that's just he's dead play there, and he does give it up. So now the only deck left is Shaman, and if you're queuing in with Warrior, my guess is that Shaman is probably Token Shaman.
I would assume, yeah. It makes sense with the queue, and it's also just the most popular version of Shaman at the moment.
So,
I actually believe that the Dragon Priest is a slight favorite in this matchup, but I could be wrong.
I think if I remember correctly, I think it is as well. But especially since this is running 2, and we actually see in Necrotic's hand he does get the. My deck tracker must not be doing stuff correctly because it actually says he got a doppelgangster, but I don't see it. So he must have tossed it back already. But
he had it in his starting hand, but he tossed it back.
Okay, so Drudded just opens up with Northshire Cleric. If Necrotic pulls out, drops something, then he's basically inviting. Yeah, he's basically inviting Drudded to draw a card here.
Yeah, I don't like the Bloodsail Raider here. Necrotic could have just done nothing and waited a turn, and then tried to clear off the Northshire with Jade Claws, coin, Bloodsail Raider next turn. The downside of that, of course, is if your opponent has Power Word Shield, which Drudded does. And if he wasn't going with that line, I think he should have played the Firefly over the Bloodsail Raider. There's no reason to just play this Patches out because you know it's going to die.
Yeah, you know it's going to die now. So, looking at Necrotic's hand, it's like he is going to play the Jade Claws here. He still will not be able to kill it, so I'm guessing he will just push face with Bloodsail Raider and probably pass here.
He could pass. He might want to hit in with this Jade Claws because if he doesn't kill this Northshire soon, it's just going to eat up everything on his board. So he does make the hit in here.
So if Drudded would like, he can clear this board. He can do Radiant Elemental with Shadow Word Pain, but he's actually just going to value the draw here.
Radiant Elemental Shadow Word Pain would have been so good, but he's going to opt to not go for it. This Northshire is going to stay alive, though, unless Necrotic wants to devolve it, which he probably doesn't. I think he's just going to... Okay, he could have coined out Stonehill, but playing these 1/2s out is okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, he's just gonna... I'm assuming he'll probably just push face, though. He may try to put in... Oh, actually, he's gonna put in here and try to get rid of this. Drudded does pick up Lyra, but that's not gonna be later on, I think.
I don't really understand this hit-in with the Jade Claws. I guess if you predict that your opponent will heal, it means you can kill it with Jade Lightning, but you can always just make that hit-in next turn. If your opponent plays a minion that costs 3 or more mana rather than healing the Northshire, then it's probably just wasted damage.
All right, so for Drudded here, I think he's going to kill the Bloodsail Raider, or the Bloodsail Corsair here. I think he's thinking about should he Shadow Word Pain one of these other 2 creatures. I don't think he should. I think just toss the Radiant Elemental out, because that will contest the other 2 creatures just fine, and may give another target for Jade Lightning to keep this around a little bit longer.
Yeah, I really like the Radiant Elemental here too. Would have been good last turn as well, but yeah, may as well just play this 2/3 out. He's taking a while to think about it. Still the right play, and he is going to go for it. So here we sort of see the punish for Necrotic swinging with that Jade Claws last turn. If he hadn't, the Northshire would have been at a 1/5, and he could have played Jade Lightning and cleared this board off. But instead, he will not be able to. He's going to leave this Radiant Elemental up.
Okay, so for Drudded, he picks up the Netherspite Historian, which I think is a fine play here. Get you another dragon. You don't have a dragon to trigger your Draconid Operative yet. And if you want to kill the 2/2 with Shadow Word Pain, then that's still available as well.
Yeah, this lets you get a hero power in. Primordial Drake's a huge pickup off this Nose fight.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he will use the Shadow Word Pain to kill this and then heal back up his Radiant Elemental. And that'll be the end of his turn. Now...
Flame Tongue is great.
Flame Tongue is great here, yeah. This will actually clear off the Radiant Elemental, and he can play the Stonehill Defender. Wow, he picked that. He picked that quick.
I did not even see what the other choices were because he picked that Hot Spring so fast.
Yeah, he did. It's like I'm sure the others were probably fine choices, but honestly, right now I think I'm liking the Draconoid Operative. It does contest the board fairly well here, and
Operative is good. I agree.
Yeah, it's like I don't think you're not gonna Potion of Madness that.
Definitely not.
I think it's Aya all day here.
He could also take Maelstrom Portal. You know that you're playing against a token deck. They're gonna have boards where it's good to Maelstrom Portal. Aya is pretty powerful, but you have a lot of value in your hand, and it is only gonna pull a 1/1. You're probably not gonna get any other Jade cards unless you get lucky off another Operative.
True. So yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the Maelstrom Portal is probably the better option here. He may be looking at the Flame Tongue as well, but no, he's actually gonna go with Aya.
I think out of the 3, Flame Tongue was not the pick. Aya is okay. His hand, I don't know. He has a lot of value in his hand, but at the same time, sometimes you do need that against this token shaman because they are running Doppelgangster and Evolve.
All right, so for Necrotic, he just picked up the Bloodlust, but he doesn't really have the board yet for a Bloodlust. Now, he could kill the Northshire, another Sprite Historian here, and then use the Hot Spring Guardian that he got last turn to heal it back up to full, if he would like, and that will put 2 taunts on the battlefield. But I don't know if that's... I'm trying to see if there's any better options here.
Yeah, this is just a difficult situation. Maybe you just Totem and play the thing and take the value trade.
He's got to go for
Evolve. Hey, I mean, that is one of the weaker 4-drops, so that is going to work out for him, actually.
It is going to work nicely.
I really would have liked to see him coin out the Hot Springs there on his Stonehill Defender.
Yeah, to heal it up and get it back up to range, because now he can potentially use Searing Totem or Push of Madness to take the Searing Totem to kill the Stonehill Guardian with the Murloc Tidecaller if he would like.
Yeah, that's a possible play, and Drudded can combo that with any of the minions that he has in hand, except for Primordial Drake. Aya would be on curve. He chooses to not play the potion at all. He also could have just gone with Lyra, Potion of Madness, and even though you only get 1 card, I think it's okay. You don't really need to get that much value out of Lyra in this matchup.
And actually, he could have, even if he's going to play Elise, he could have done the Radiant Elemental and still gotten a 0-mana Potion of Madness and done the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. He even could have gone Lyra Radiant Elemental Potion, and then sometimes you get a 1 or 0-mana spell off of Lyra. So, yeah, I'm not really sure why he went with the Elise there. You definitely don't care that much about getting the pack shuffled in this matchup at all.
If I'm Drudded here, I think I am Shadow Visioning and hoping for one of my 2
Dragonfire Potions.
I
would assume.
It's like, actually, no. Actually, this clears off everything except the 3/2 and the taunt, so...
Yeah, this is actually better than going for the Dragonfire Potion, I think, just because you still have that 4/8 minion on the board.
Now, for Necrotic here, he could do the Mana Tide here, and that would get him a card draw, as well as... Actually, he can Mana Tide, Hero Power, and he would have a 1-mana 5/5?
He can play 2 of the... he could Mana Tide, Hero Power, and play both of the things from Lotus if he wanted to. This...
Yeah, it seems like an improper sequence, but, I mean, it's not the worst thing.
Sort of bad sequencing, but maybe he just doesn't want to commit that other thing from below to the board.
Well, now he has the Dragonfire Potion, so this is all going to be for naught anyway, because his board's going to get wiped here.
Yep.
In about 2 seconds.
Also, if he was playing the Mana Tide, I would have liked to see it get played on the left. But it's not really going to matter here.
All right, and so Drudded will make that a 4/8 as well. And what's in hand right now? He's holding the Doppelgangster until the Evolve comes up, but he will wait to play a 0-mana thing from below here.
Yeah.
If I was him, I would not toss much more on the field because you're asking for another Dragonfire Potion here.
Yeah, Necrotic's just really fallen pretty far behind on the board. He really needs to pick up that Evolve to combo with Doppelgangster if he wants to get back into this game.
Well, he did pick up the Defender of Argus. He could Defender of Argus these two creatures and kill the... Actually, he's going to Shadow Vision, see if he gets the... Well, he got the Angora pack, but I believe the Dragonfire Potion is there as well. Oh, no, Shadow War Pain.
Drawing first is fine here. I think Drudded is eventually going to want to play that Defender. He gets that nice trade into the thing from below and sets up two good taunts. Oh, he can just play Shadow of Death on thing from below. Yeah, this is also fine.
Yeah, this is excellent, actually. He will be able to clear everything with the exception of probably a 1/2. Or actually, he'll leave the 2/1/1s up because they're not that threatening.
Oh, man. Two Doppelgangsters but no Evolve. You just hate to see that.
Now, the good news for Necrotic here is he is still holding on to the coin. So if he ever does get involved, he can do Doppelgangster, coin, Evolve, and he would have six drops at once.
Yeah, that's a huge combo if he can get it off, but I'm not sure if he's gonna live to be able to do that.
I don't think he is either.
Lyra Shadow Vision's coming down. Lyra Radiant Elemental coming down, and yeah, Drudded's going to clear off the whole board, get up a huge board of his own. This is looking rough for Necrotic.
Yeah, and he just picked up a Dragonfire Potion off of this. He has another option for another Dragonfire Potion if he so wishes.
Oh, man.
It's like... Yep. Yeah, this is not looking good at all for...
Gonna need some godly Evolve here, and that's not it. Ouch.
Actually, is he just dead on board right now?
Yep. I believe he is. Yeah, he's
6,
he's just
11,
dead.
14, 6, yep. And with that, Drudded will bring it home for Team Black Lotus with a 3-1 win. So
Nice.
I had a feeling that Shaman, if it was token, it was going to struggle against that Priest, and it did. Once the Dragonfire Potions started coming, then that was going to be game on that.
Yeah, so, really just you know what really sucks? That token Shaman is really popular, but when you draw your Doppelgangsters and don't draw your Evolves, it's sort of a dead card. And we saw Necrotic was never able to build up a big enough board to get a good Bloodlust off either. Just pretty unfortunate sequence of draws from there. And yeah, it does show the deck's inconsistencies though.
It's like Drudded will pick this up 3-1. Second win in SHL, so I know he's very excited about that. I'm excited because he carried me this week, so it's like with my me getting swept in my match against Deadly Kitten. So
yeah,
yeah.
So where does this put Team Black Lotus in the standings now?
Yeah, let's see. This week will be a let's see. We will get 14 points plus how many bonus points do you get for winning the week?
3.
3. So that would be 17 points. And let's see, looking at the standings currently, Kawasaki Ninja's rules is actually exactly 18 points ahead of us. So we will not catch KNR this week, though there are some results still pending, I think, for KNR. Let's see, only one. And actually, I believe KNR has the week 1 already. They have, no, it's 12-8. So actually, if it doesn't matter, if Dunamis sweeps Scows, then it will be a tie.
Interesting.
And so, But at the very least, right at this very moment, Kawasaki Ninja's rule will at least get 12 points. So it will not catch us up to them. And then the only other question here is what the other team that's tied with us, I believe, is Doesn't Matter. And they already have, I believe I said 8 points. Because they're facing
right now.
They're facing KNR. So if Doesn't Matter loses, then we will take sole possession of second place. But I don't.
Okay.
But I do not believe we will catch Kawasaki Ninja's rule this week because they're just super far ahead from previous weeks. So, but I believe we do play them sometime in. Let's see, what's the schedule looking like for? Because I believe we only have 2 games left, and it's. So let's see. Team level. So we have Doghouse is our last red division that we have to play against next week.
There are only 2 weeks left.
And then
in the SHL season before the playoffs.
Yep, and then our last week is Kawasaki Ninja's rule. That will probably be for the Kawasaki probably will have their playoff spot locked by then, but that will be us trying to get that second spot from the blue division. So
all right.
So definitely have a chance here, but I think pretty much the thing at this point, I think the entire season is still open. Everybody's actually within 20. The lowest team is in the entire SHL is only 24 points behind the team in first. So
wow, that's some pretty good parity.
Yeah, it is. It's like so. So there is still 2 weeks. A lot of stuff can happen in 2 weeks. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens these last 2 weeks for SHL. Yeah,
I agree. We'll be back next week for more SHL Sunday Ticket. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on tonight, especially Craeon and Delcevare for playing on such short notice.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation, and they definitely came in when we needed them most. So thank y'all.
All right, well, that should wrap it up. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and see you